Hey everybody, welcome to the review video for our second test in Sefer Bamidbar this year. This is on units 4, 5, and 6. We will not be going through the translation of the psukim, of the pshat. You have to do that on your own. In this video, we will be going through the analysis that we did in class, and also the translation of the shorashim and the conjugation of the shorashim also will not be done in this video. This is just for the analysis section. Everything else we reviewed in class, and you should be studying based on the stuff that we have. Let's go. Alright, we're going to start here with Unit 4. Now, Unit 4 was just a description of the order in which Bnei Yisrael traveled. We didn't really do any major analysis here. All you're going to have to do is be able to recognize things in the psukim, recognize the shvatim, recognize the Nisiim, the leaders of each shevet, and recognize the names of each degel. The degel is the banner shevet that led two other shvatim. Remember, there were four shvatim. There were four degalim that had three shvatim each that camped around the Mishkan. So each of those groups of shvatim had one shevet that was the leader, and that would be the banner shevet, the degel shevet. So just to point these things out in the psukim. So first, what we'll do is I'll show you where the degalim are. So it tells you first. Here we go. Whenever you see, you're looking for the word degel. Degel is the banner shevet. It's the name of the group of three. And then you see the word Machane B'nei Yehuda. So there's your first, right? There's your first of the degalim. This one is the tribe of Yehuda, was the leader of his or their, whatever it is, of their degel. And then you look later on in Pasuk Yochet. They were the first ones to travel. Then you see again degel Machane Reuven. So there's Reuven. That's the second of the degalim to travel, the second of the groups to travel. Then later on, you will find. Wait, did I miss one? Later on, you will find here Pasuk Chaf Bet Degel Machane B'nei Ephraim. There's your third. And then at the end we have Degel Machane B'nei Dan. So again, we have the four degalim, as you'll notice. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one is Yehuda. The second one is Reuven. The third is Ephraim, and the fourth is Dan. And that's how you locate them. The word Degel Machane just means the camp of. B'nei means the children of it. Dan was the name of that shevet. So that's how to locate the degalim, right? The four degalim and the order which they traveled. Then in each degel, each of the groups, there were two other shvatim. So it was blue to locate those shvatim. And all you have to do is just follow. So we have Degel Machane B'nei Yehuda. Barishon, they traveled first. And then it has the name of their prince, their leader, their nasi, whatever. And then it says V'al Tzva Matei B'nei Yisachar. Then it goes to the next one of those shvatim. So the second one is, we'll use red again, because it's really the same thing, right? So then you have, we'll do blue. Then we have B'nei Yisachar. Right, again, the word B'nei is the giveaway. And the word B'nei is the giveaway, and then you have the word Yisachar. So that's the second shevet in this group. And the next one is, again, B'nei Zevulun is the third one. Then you go into Degel. Then we look at Degel Reuven. And then we'll see that we have Matei B'nei Shimon. So Shimon is the next one. And then we have B'nei Gad. So Gad is the next shevet in Degel Reuven. Then we go down to Degel Machane Ephraim, and we have B'nei Menashe. So Menashe was the second shevet, and then you have B'nei Binyamin. Sorry for that crooked line there. So Binyamin was the third shevet in Degel Ephraim. And then when we get to Degel Dan, so you see we have Degel Machane Dan right over here. That's the first one. And then you move on. We have B'nei Asher, and then you have finally B'nei Naphtali. So now you should have a total of 12 shvatim. You have the Degel shevet, and then 1, 2. The Degel shevet and 1, 2. The Degel shevet and 1, 2. And the Degel shevet and 1, 2, Asher, and then Naphtali. So that's how you locate the shvatim that are in each. I might ask you a question, which shvatim were in Degel Yisachar. I might ask you which was the Degel that marched third. I might ask you, something like that. Then we go on to the Nisiim, the leaders of each one. And again, those are pretty straightforward and simple. You have just the name that goes after it. So you have here. The Al-Tzava of Al-Tzava, the leader is, and you have something ben something. Nachshon ben Aminadav. right? There's the leader of Yehuda. You have again Netanel ben Suar, the leader of Yisachar, etc., etc., etc. I'm not going to go through each one of those, but again, you're looking for this Al Tziva'o is that key word there. I guess that's really what we're looking for, the Al Tziva'o, the leader of the Shevet. That's the key word. Here it is, Al Tzivah, the Al Tzivah. And then finally, we have the jobs of the Shvatim. I'm sorry, of Shevet Levi. Levi did not sit in the Degel. Levi actually had a job in terms of carrying the Mishkan. And there you have Bnei Gershon, Bnei Merari, and you also have Kehatim. Kehatim is the third of the sons of Levi. So here, Bnei Gershon, Bnei Merari, what were they? Nosei HaMishkan. Their job was to carry the Mishkan. The Mishkan being just like the actual 10 parts. So there's your Nosei HaMishkan. That's the job right there. Nosei HaMishkan is the job of Bnei Gershon, Bnei Merari. And down here you have the Kehatim, and the job of the Kehatim was Nosei HaMikdash. They carried the Mikdash. They carried the kalim, the vessels that were used, the holy things that were used in the Mishkan itself. So therefore, there you have everything that you need to identify in these psukim. You have to identify the degalim. You have to identify the shevet that's in the other shvatim that are in each degel. You have to identify the leaders of each shevet, right? Al tziva'o over al tzivah, and it has someone bend something, and then you have to identify the jobs of the Bnei Levi and the Bnei Levi themselves. Now we move on to the end of the parak, psukim chaf tet until the end. And here is where Moshe has his relative Chovav living with them, and he's trying to convince Chovav to travel with Bnei Yisrael and join them in Eretz Yisrael. The analysis we did of these psukim was comparing the two requests that Moshe gave to Chovav. He requested once, then Chovav refused, then he requested again. And we learned about what it takes to motivate someone to make a big change in their life based on these psukim. So if you look at the two requests, so the first time is here, right? Moshe says to Chovav, we are traveling to the place Hashem said, I will give it to you, go with us, and good things will happen to you. And what does he say? I will not go, rather I will to my land and my birthplace I will go. Vayomer elav lo elech, I'm not going to go, im el artzi ve'el moladati, right? My land and my birthplace, like Avraham Avinu. I'm going to go back to my land and my birthplace, I'm not going to go with you. Then Moshe makes a second request, and we'll go through that, and then there's no refusal by Chovav the second time around. So, there's no refusal. So the way we read that in class, so there's no, I should take that back. I'll erase that here. There's no refusal, not the first time. Okay, but the second request has no refusal by Chovav. And the way we read that in class is that the second request was a better request than the first. It was better in terms of Chovav didn't say no outright. Now, he might not have gone with them, he might have, we don't know. But the point is, that's not about whether he said yes or whether he said no. The point was that Moshe Rabbeinu's request the second time was different. So what we're going to do is take an analysis, look at the difference between the first request and the second request, and ask ourselves, why did Chovav not refuse the second time? Why was the second request better? Okay, so here are the two requests separated here without the refusal highlighted. So you see the two requests. So let's go through it quickly. What does he say to Moshe the first? What does Moshe say to Chovav the first time? We are traveling to the place that Hashem said, I will give it to you. Okay, go with us and we will do good to you. Why? Because Hashem spoke to do well with Yisrael, and that's the important part right there. Okay, Chovav gives a reason. Moshe gives a reason for why good things will happen to Chovav, but it's not because he deserves it. It says because Hashem spoke to do good to Yisrael. Where is it here in the psukim? Ki Hashem diber tov al Yisrael. It's because of Bnei Yisrael that good things are going to happen to you, not because of you. The second time around, he just says, it will be that the good that Hashem will do with us, we will do that same good to you, right? V'haya, where is it in the psukim? V'haya hatov hahu asher yeitiv Hashem imanu v'heitavnu lach. This good that Hashem will do with us, you will get it too. Not because of us. You'll get the same good, but not because of Bnei Yisrael. You actually will have earned it on your own. What you'll also notice the second time around is what he mentions. He says, you have been known about our camping in the desert, and you have been a guide for us. Okay? That's the second thing that you should notice. You have know about camping in the desert, and you have been a guide for us. This shows you that he's telling Chovav, we need you. We can benefit from having you around, which is something he does not do in the first request. So what does that all mean? Here. So to understand this, let's just take a look at the differences side by side. First request, Chovav refuses. Second time, he doesn't refuse, so it's a better request. First time, the good is because of Bnei Yisrael. The second time, the good is on your own merit. The second time, he says, we need... The first time, he doesn't say, there's no... For Moshe, doesn't say, we need you. The second time, he says, Chov, we need you. So what does that all point to? So that points to the fact that the first time Chova was not really made to feel important. It was just like, come with us, it'll be nice for you, whatever it is. But the good that you'll get is because of Bnei Yisrael. We don't need you for anything. The second time around, however, it says, Chovav was made to feel important. We need you. The good will happen because of you, not because of Bnei Yisrael. And that's why Chovav does not refuse. So we discussed how this is teaching us that in order to motivate somebody to change and to take on something new and to join a new group of people, you have to really make them feel like they're going to be important, and that will really get them to go. Like they feel like they'll be significant, and they'll have their own place, and like they'll have their own identity. But most importantly, they'll just feel that they are important on their own and not just blend into this new group that they're not used to. Another example we saw of this is when we looked at the psukim related to Avraham Avinu. When Hashem is trying to get Avraham to leave his home and leave his birthplace and to travel on into a new land, what does he say to him? This is highlighted for a reason you'll see in a second. Leave from your home and from your land and from your birthplace. And so he's trying to do exactly what Moshe is trying to get Chovav to do. What does Hashem promise him? I'll make you a great nation. I will bless you. Your name will be great. You'll be a source of blessing. So what you're seeing from here is that when Hashem asked Avram to change and make a move and do something drastic and scary and go into the unknown, he promised to make him important, and Avram, of course, followed. So we see that also that Hashem is teaches that to us. When it came to getting Avraham Avinu to travel, and what you'll notice when you look at our psukim is that Chovav uses a very similar lashon. Look what he says, similar language. He says, Lo elech, came out elech, the lech lecha, right, reflecting the lech lecha of Avraham Avinu. I'm going to go back el artzi, to my land, like Hashem promised, asking Avraham to leave me artzecha. He says, Chovav says, I'm not going, I'm going back to my birthplace, as opposed to Avraham, who was leaving his birthplace. So it's teaching us is that what Moshe did the first time was undo what Hashem did with Avraham, the reverse. Hashem promised to make Avraham important, so he's able to leave his land and his birthplace. The first time Moshe did not make Chovav feel important, so he said, I'm going to go back to my land and go back to my birthplace. On the test, what I really want you guys to know is mostly this first part. That when it came to Avraham was asked to leave, and Hashem got him to leave and to change, like Moshe is promising Chovav, but he got him to move by promising him big things and that he'd be important. If you know the connection between the language and our psukim, that would also be great too, but that'll probably be extra credit. But just to bring home the point again, so you see the comparisons in the language between our psukim and Avraham, Hashem talking to Avraham, the similar language, that's the highlights there. And because Hashem promised to make Avraham important, as opposed to Moshe did not promise to make Chovav important the first time around. The next piece of analysis we did when it came to Chovav was a question of who Chovav actually was, or more importantly, who was Moshe's father-in-law. Now, the reason we did this is not just because we want to know history, because we learned a little bit about how Rashi works and how Rishonim work when they're interpreting psukim. If you look at our psukim, what does it say? Moshe said to Chovav, Ben Ruel, the son of Ruel the Midianite, Moshe's in-law. Okay, Chotain Moshe, Moshe's in-law, Moshe's father-in-law. So the question is, when it says Chotain Moshe, Moshe's in-law, who is that referring to? So as we point out, there's two ways you can read these psukim. You can read it like this: Moshe said to Chovav, who was Ben Reuel the Midianite, Moshe's in-law, meaning Reuel is the one who's being described as Moshe's father-in-law, Moshe's in-law here, Chotain Moshe. That's one way to read it. The other way to read it is that, like this: Moshe said to Chovav ben Reuel the Midianite, that Moshe's in-law. This entire thing is Chovav's name. Chovav is the son of Reuel, who is he's also the Midianite, and he's Moshe's in-law. So it's possible to read the psukim in both ways. Either that Chovav is Chotain Moshe, or that Reuel is Chotain Moshe. So we're stuck with the question of who is Moshe's father-in-law? Is it Reuel? or is it Chovav? And again, you see how our psukim can be read both ways. So Rashi addressed this issue, but in order to address this issue, he looked at two other psukim in Tanakh. The first pasuk in Tanakh that Rashi quoted is from Sefer Shemot, and in Sefer Shemot, discussing when Moshe first meets his wife. So it says, Vatavona, they came, when they is referring to Moshe's wife and her sisters, El Reuel Avihen, to Reuel, their father. So clearly from here, this implies that Reuel is Moshe's father-in-law. Yet, if you look in Sefer Shoftim, it says the following. Chever HaKeni nifrad meKain. This person, Chever, who was a Keni, separated himself from Cain. And who were they? Mibnei, the sons of Chovav Chotein Moshe. So there, in Shoftim, Chovav is referred to as being the Chotein Moshe. So now we're kind of stuck. Is it Reuel, who is the father of Moshe's wife, his father-in-law, right? As it implies here, Reuel is the father of Moshe's wife. That makes him Moshe's father-in-law. Or is it Chovav, who is Chotein Moshe, the father-in-law of Moshe Rabbeinu? So we have two separate psukim that seem to imply two different answers. So as we pointed out in class, what Rashi does, he says, listen, I have to choose one. I got to choose either it's Reuel based on this pasuk, or it's Chovav based on this pasuk. But whichever pasuk I'm going to choose as being the right one, the other pasuk I have to interpret and say, well, what does this pasuk mean? So if I choose that Reuel this pasuk that it's Reuel was Moshe's father-in-law, so why does it say Chovav was Chotein Moshe? What does Chovav Chotein Moshe mean? Maybe it means something else. Or if I'm going to choose Chovav to be the Chotein Moshe, Chovav is going to be the one who is Moshe's father-in-law. So what does it mean when it says Reuel Avihen, that Reuel was Moshe's wife's father?